Just last week, the Miami game. It's been extremely difficult, extremely frustrating. I don't want to say difficult. It's been extremely frustrating to be as close as we are continuously and still come up on the short end. This is the third game where literally we have lost the game on the last play of the game. When you go back to the Rutgers game, the Cincinnati game, and now the Miami game. And it's a shame because so many people played so well in this game. Defensively, I thought our defense played outstanding. Miami, the lowest output they had been held to all year was 19, and that was only once. And for our defense to stand up and hold them to 6 points, I thought they played tremendous. I definitely think the difference of this football game was Ja'Cory Harris. Ja'Cory Harris was the undercurrent on this thing that really made a difference. I thought he was elusive. I thought he was very accurate with the ball. I thought he did a great job of protecting it. He was, as a coach, standing across the field. That was an impressive performance by a young man that I thought was very motivated and I thought stepped in and I thought had an unbelievable game. I thought he played great because I thought our defense played extremely well. And he was the guy that really kept everything afloat. He was the one that kept a lot of plays alive with his feet, made some great decisions mentally, and threw the ball extremely accurate as a passer. And I thought he did a great job. And somebody had asked me the question about the long drive at the end of the game. Why? Who do you point to? You point to him. I go back to the second play of that drive. Ryan Giddens has him dead to right on the 5 to 10 yard line coming from the backside of him, and he scrambles out and scrambles around and individually runs for a first down to keep the drive alive. If you get that sack there, you're probably 3 and out. They're punting backed up. You got the ball in good field position, but I really think the defensive staff and the players did an unbelievable job in that game. Offensively, it was a little bit different story. Offensively, I thought we did some good things in the first half. Playing the field position game, when you look at our starting point in the first half, we started on the 12, we started on the 10, seemed like we were always backed up, but I thought the offense did a good job of having 8 and 10 play drives, getting it out to midfield, punting them in a hole, and then making them go 80 to 90 yards to score, which they weren't able to do very often against our defense. Unfortunately, in the second half, we were not near as successful with that. We had many more 3 and outs. We had a lot more mistakes. We weren't as consistent. And I don't think I don't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with Bobby going in the game. But, when Bobby was in there, we also had 2 drops. We had, a 15-yard game where we would have had the ball in the fourth quarter on 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line going in with a 3-3 football game when you're already in field goal range. Instead, you have 2nd and 8 on your own 45 because of a false start, a penalty. And I think maybe a lot of people are going to point and try and give Bobby the blame, but I think there were a lot of other factors and a lot of other people that could have stepped up in that game that could have helped a young quarterback walking into that situation. Bobby did not look very comfortable, and going back and watching the film, very uncharacteristically, Bobby was not as sharp mentally as he has been, as what we've come to expect from Bobby on a day-to-day basis. But I certainly am not pointing the finger at Bobby, but he's going to have to play better. Injury-wise, BJ has what has been deemed a AC joint bruise. It is on his right shoulder, and how much he will be able to play or practice at this point, I don't know. He is a question mark. At this point, there's a possibility that he can handle treatment and play, but I would not expect him to practice today. And as we've talked about before, he's got to practice in these 3 work days in order to be able to play in the game. And I have found that people that don't practice all week normally don't play very well. So we'll just have to wait and see how he's going to respond to the treatments. And we're going to get ready to go with Bobby Eville. Bobby Eville has now been in the system for 2 years. He's had an awful lot of reps in practice, and he should be ready to go, and I would think that this team would rally around that. The other injuries right now are Luke Sager. There's a question mark right now with a concussion, and Curtis Weatherspoon right now is out with a knee, a non-surgical knee, with where he is right now as a senior. But those are the 3 injuries that we came out of the game with. Walking into Louisville this week, another great challenge. When you look at it, the last 2 teams we play are 2 teams that are tied for first place right now in the conference, that are both, tied with about everybody else in the league. I mean, there's a whole bunch of teams that are up there, but there are definitely two of them that are tied for first place. There'll be two great challenges. Excited to have the opportunity to play them at home. And then when you watch Louisville, Coach Strong has done an excellent job with this team. They did start out very strong. They're playing a lot of young guys, but you can see them get better and better as the year's gone on. They have offensively, I think the running back as an upperclassman is playing really well. Chichester, the 6'8", 240-pound receiver, tight end, H-back, definitely gives you some personnel and some mismatch issues. They're very big up front on their offensive line. And I think Teddy Bridgewater is really starting to grow up as a freshman quarterback. They started playing him about halfway point, and he has gotten better and better every week. He's probably very similar from a talent standpoint to the guy that we just played, and Ja'Cory Harris. Just doesn't have the experience at this point that a Ja'Cory Harris has. But I think he's playing very well and doing some really good things for him offensively. Defensively, Vance Bedford, their defense coordinator, very pressure-oriented defense, much as they were a year ago, a lot more man coverage, playing a lot of guys. Starts, I think they're really good at their middle linebacker, their defensive tackle, and their safety. They're really solid up the middle when you look at them, and that's one of the things that makes them so strong is they're really good in the middle backer, they're good at safety, and they're good at tackle. And then they've got a lot of athletes they've been running on and off, and they're playing an awful lot of guys. So they're keeping guys fresh. They're a very active bunch on defense. They're leading the league in points given up and a number of different statistics. But this will be a great challenge for us, and we're glad that we have the opportunity to play at home. I know our players are frustrated with the close losses that we've had, but if anything, I think they are more determined than ever. I certainly don't think anything has happened to damper their spirits or to put out their fire or to cause them to throw in the towel and throw up their arms. The attitude is extremely positive right now, extremely close together, and I think the wagonings keep tightening, and we just have to keep working as a football staff and a football program. And I think right now the key word is persistence, as close as we are, is that we just have to stay the course and keep going. But where I'm really proud of this team is nobody's pointing fingers right now. Nobody's pointing fingers. Nobody's trying to blame each other. Everybody's saying, what do we got to do to get this thing there? And that's why it's such a joy to coach this team each and every day, because of the attitude that they have. Excited to watch them play this week.